Hello Steelers, and welcome to this hobby update bench report. This is the first one for a little while, and I'm actually recording this a little earlier than Sunday, because on Sunday I'm going to be over at Partisan. If I do see you, then hello from future Alex, and it'll be nice to see who's out there and what games are going to be. I'm going to be taking my camera, of course, so I'm going to be filming, so I'll be down there. So there will be a show report coming along at some point later in the week when I get that put together and posted up. So keep a lookout for that. I was away last weekend, so I didn't get a chance to do a hobby report, bench update. Also, it's been a little bit quiet as well, but I have been painting bits and pieces over the last couple of weeks since the last one of these. The main thing was the house, the colonial house for Singapore that Richard Hogg sent over. This he designed and printed for me very kindly. Thank you, Richard, if you're watching. And this is one of the famous black and white houses at Singapore. So these are very specific colonial style houses of the 1930s and 40s. Look very much like suburban London, basically, but without chimneys. And they don't have chimneys because Singapore's hot, of course. So that was it was quite a nice paint, actually. It's quite nice to paint it. It took a little while because I wasn't entirely sure how to tackle it, but once I got going with it, it certainly finished off. And all I've done is I put it on a base and then just put some garden ornaments in it. Basically, the rest of it is all Richard's work and just my slapdash painting on it. I also, as well, because I'm still on a little bit of a Waterloo kick from the other week, I painted some Scottish Highlanders for short practice. These are from AB Miniatures. Sorry, no, they're not. They're from Fizzer's Men of Metal. So they're 18mm. I'm getting mixed up. And these, I have actually had these for ages and ages and ages. They've been in the to paint pile for such a long time. I just haven't had a chance to do them. And it's kind of the push from Waterloo kind of just made me shove them over the end, and I thought, right, I'll get these done. Really nice figures. They're not as detailed as the AB Miniatures ones are, but few would be. But they are very nice. I would say very nice rank fillers, and I think they are expanding their range all the time. And what they are doing as well is actually they're doing some really nice caped cavalry figures which look lovely. There's I think a couple of sets of French ones out at the moment, but they're well worth looking at if you are doing 18mm for anything. They fit well in with other manufacturers like AB Miniatures. And speaking of AB Miniatures, I also painted some of their Napoleonic casualties. Once again, I've had these for ages. This comes as a little set. I think there's in total there's 22 figures, 11 on both sides, but the British have got 3 men together, so 2 carrying 1 guy, whereas the French are all individuals, but there's 11 individual figures in each of these, and they're in various states of distress. Some are being shot, some have been shot, some are dead, but these will do very well for little characters or little vignettes on any tabletop. I'll be using them in short practice, as I say, for characters, or for just for those extra little figures kicking about here and there that pop up in short practice. So that's the plan with those. That's kind of all I've painted, really. I'm currently waiting for the Imperial Guard to come through the post. I bought them from AB Miniatures just the other day. They are supposed to have been dispatched. By the time I'm recording this, I haven't had them yet, so they may turn up between now and Sunday, but they haven't arrived yet, just like they did in Waterloo. But enough said about that. I'm also currently painting as well one of Leif's buildings that he sent over from his Normandy Kickstarter, which now has its teaser trailer, and also the Kickstarter page is ready to go as well. I think there's just a countdown on it. I'll put a link for both of those into the description. You can check out my review of his buildings that he sent through just the other day. That was a recent video, so check that out. Go and have a look at that. That's just a box opening and having a look at some of the buildings. They're fantastic. But that's really it in the post. So the only other thing that came in the post was this, which some of you may recognise. This is a printed version, or the PDF version of Through the Mud and the Blood. I simply got this because my version of it is getting so old and knackered now that I've used it so much that I thought, right, it's time just to basically upgrade my gaming experience, and this is pretty much it. Just through Docs Direct, usual, cheap, good service, came with some sweeties, so you can't really complain at that. And yeah, it's just a copy of the rules. Nothing special in that, but I just thought I'd get a new copy of it. Like I say, mine's falling to pieces at this point, and since I gave away the last one ever printed, I don't think I'm going to be able to get hold of a copy anytime soon. Here's what it is. In other news, at the club this week, I played with Dex Chain of Command, our Curse campaign, second scenario of the second part of it. So this is German Breakthrough, Kursk, Operation Citadel. This was the breakthrough scenario, and basically I took a Stug to a knife fight. I got a Stug 42, used that as my options, my sport options, and I basically piled it up the table and then dragged a jumping off point behind it. Meanwhile, Dex then assaulted me with his SMG section, absolutely mullered my support section that I bought, and then we had another couple of infights with. I jumped on another of his sections, what was remaining from my jumping off point, and then he jumped out with his flamethrower and hammered me as well. But I was able to shut down and get rid of one of his jumping off points, and his force morale fell to 0 basically. I just pushed through, and so it was another win for the Germans on that one. But a great game, and it could have gone any way, and there was plenty of squeaky bum times on my part as well. So, you know, it wasn't just a rollover from a German point of view, which is what you always want from a game, really, isn't it? I mentioned that I was away last week. I was actually in London. We visited the House of Parliament, which was great. It was a great tour. It's well worth doing if you're down there. We did the audio-visual tour, so the multimedia tour. That was worth doing. You can go at your own pace. It took about an hour, 2 hours or so, and just brilliant to see the place. Really, you know, I'm interested in politics, and that was an interesting place to visit. The other place we went to, as well, apart from the Victoria and Albert Museum, was the Science Museum, and I specifically went to the flight section of that. I'd like to have looked around the rest of it because there's some brilliant things in there, but just didn't have time. So we went straight up to the flight section, and there was some fantastic bits and pieces in there, stuff I'd never seen, like a Fokker E3, should I say, just a skeleton of it, Alcock and Brown's Vickers Vimy that they flew across the Atlantic in, I think in 1919, I think it was. Also Spitfire, Hurricane, usual stuff, and an ME-163 Comet. They've also got a V1 and a V2 bomb in there as well, the Doodlebug and the big old V2, and other bits and pieces. Like I said, I've got the moon lander and things like that. Or I think that might be a mock-up, or it may be one of the 12 anyway. But anyway, brilliant trip. Really enjoyed it. London's always good to visit, but it was a bit of a romantic trip with my wife. But I did manage to drag her around a few war things as well, which is always good. So. Yeah, that's kind of been the last few weeks, really, last couple of weeks. Not much more to report, as I say. Party's on Sunday, going to be going to that. I'll be there with the camera, so come and say hello if you are there. Well, you won't see this by the time you've got to Party's on, because this should be out by the time it's Party's on. So, but if I do see you, hello. The other thing as well is the Storm of Steel Facebook group is about now 50 of something like 1,000 members. I'll put a link in the description down below as always. But please go and join it. Go and join it and share some of your pictures. It'd be nice to get that over 1,000 in the next week or so. It'd be great to see it. And I'll wrap up there. I haven't really got much else to tell you apart from that. I'll leave it at that, and I'll say I'll see you in the next Storm of Steel video.